let's talk about the very basic of a site plan. What is a site plan? Site plan is a definition of that property that you are trying to develop something for, or maybe get information about. It has boundaries, it has location of various objects on the ground. So in this lesson, we're going to talk about your first site plan generation as an output, and we're going to take a look at the outputs as well. So after you type in an address and run a project, you will get various projects. This is one of the ones that we just started. We're going to use this project on Ted Avenue throughout this lessons, right? So we're going to open the project. As the project opens up, it basically focuses into as if you just started the address, right? We first see what is available to us, which basically is the property lines, which is the white dotted line, the 5-foot setback, which is the red one, and also the roof line is highlighted. There seems to be a storage place that has a roof. It is highlighted. These are recognized by the artificial intelligence using the high recognition, high image resolution. Let's talk about property lines. It is an important aspect of our work, right? Now, as you can see here, this property line, the white, is not aligned with the fence line, right? You can see the fence line here. Now, where do we get this information and how accurate it is? We get that question asked 100% of the time. This information is what the US government, the city that this property belongs to, has and provides to anyone. It is on their portal. So if you happen to go to the city, I believe this is in probably Saratoga, and go to the planning department, they will type in this address and they will show you this, right? Is it accurate? Obviously not. You're looking at it. Now, what is an accurate site plan? The only accurate site plan, if there is such a thing, it is one that is done by a licensed surveyor. They will go and measure everything, publish it, measure everything from medallion to medallion and publish it. But if they give that to the city doesn't update this. The city will keep the records as they have. Now, you can update these boundaries. It's very easy to do so. Have in mind that we are presenting to you the latest imagery in a very high resolution picture. If you go to preferences, you notice that this was taken in September. There's a lot of data, right? We always use the latest. Now, how do we correct it? We correct it as if the surveyor was doing that. What does the surveyor do? So the surveyor goes here and measures and does the medallion and measures all that stuff, right? You're looking from the above. We click once, it highlights the entire object. Now we can move it, as you can see, to these boundaries, right? You can see I'm moving it to the boundaries. So it looks like the back is aligned. This section is aligned somewhat. There is a little area here. There could be some areas of the angle that the picture is taken off. But it looks like this part is okay. This part needs still a little bit of work. And you notice that as I adjust it, everything got adjusted. So when I click on save, everything, because is relative, is to the scale, everything gets adjusted accordingly, right? So now that got adjusted. You see a 5-foot setback got adjusted. Now, we see, if you zoom in, we see that these lines are still not okay, right? You see that this is a little bit distance. Now, more than likely, being familiar with this area, this has to do with the fact that this is a corner lot. There's usually a lot of issues with corner lots as far as the boundaries and setbacks and stuff is concerned, right? Now, what we can do is you can see this line, right? So if I click once, I have selected everything, right? I've selected the whole, but if I click twice, I get these buttons, right? I get these sections. Now what I can do is I can move this one to here, right? And I can move all the other ones accordingly. This one is now solved. I can do this a little bit here. And then I can go in. Ooh, I grabbed too much. I can go in here and using this, adjust this one to the side, right? And save it. Now, I have basically enabled having corrected what I believe is a site plan. Now, is that the ultimate site plan? Actually, I see a little bit of error. Let's correct that as I zoom in. I see that this got pushed back a little bit. You can see it here, right? Now, if you want, if there are some areas here, you can always go to the preferences and kind of go back to maybe March. This is California, so March, it was supposed to be that green. Let's see what happens. We switch the dates, and that might give us more clues as far as what's out there. Yeah, there. Yeah, obviously the angle is different. And yeah, it looks like these sides are okay, but this one is a little off. So we always go back to the latest one. And on the latest one, we can make adjustments. On these adjustments, I'm going to click once, click twice, and adjust this one a little bit. And I'm going to adjust this one a little bit. And you notice that as I adjust them and save it, everything gets clicked back into the right measurements. Now, another way of verifying this is, and every part of the country is a little different, but in California, there is a 5-foot setback for almost like 99% of the homes, right? So these lines are telling me that we're okay. The house is not in the setback, so we're pretty much in the right way to do that. Now, questions will come up. Is this my land or not? Probably it is, but because of the way the property lines are at, you can't use it. There's not much you can use, right, on the side. Is the front mine? Of course it is. But probably there is some rules that you cannot use that. Now, we did some adjustments. If I go to the site tomorrow and take a look around and see that there is some mailbox or something there, and that's the part, I can come back and adjust it again. If I go to the client and the client says, "Oh, I have this old survey and this is where the survey looks like," I can bring that survey in here and make adjustments again. I'm in 100% control of everything that happens here, right? Now, the idea is that you as a designer, you as an architect, as a builder, as a homeowner, you know this property, or you get to know it as you build your project. And as you do, you can use this tool to make all kind of adjustments as you wish. Now, let's talk about generating an output. What you see, what you get. What are we looking at? You're looking at some elevation. This is pretty flat, right? You're looking at the boundaries. We're looking at the setback that's highlighted and the roof line, a couple of them. Nothing else is highlighted. Later on in building this project, we're going to put in like a swimming pool, maybe put an ADU, we put in all kind of stuff, and we'll see the outputs. But right now, let's just to get the very basic site plan after we made the adjustment. All we do, we go to export, you select the PDF. You can also select the CAD file, and it will be the same thing. It will be just similar as PDF or any of these formats. I'm also selecting the property report just so that we can see what's going to look like. Property report is a good tool to have. Then you simply click on Request Export. It will take a little bit of time, depending on the size of the property that you're looking at, the location, because it has to now combine all this information, compile them all together, build the reports. These are two reports, right? If there was a CAD file, generating a CAD file. But now we're generating a complete site plan on an engineering drawing page, and it's completed, as I was talking. And there is a property report. Let's take a look at each one. Click on it, it will download, and you can open it. This is a PDF version of the site plan. And you will see is what you see, what you get. Basically, we have now the process of looking at the plan, the roof line, and so forth, and the little roof that was here, and the information about the project plan. And it is in an engineering drawing page that you can has, tables and so forth that you can use. That simple. Now let's take a look at what was the other side, which was the property report. This is also available to you. Property report gives us a lot of information about this given property. Who does it belong to? What kind of zoning? Bunch of information there. Roof lines and so forth. You found two roof lines, like a little box here too as well. It will give you elevation analysis highlights. This is pretty fat line that they give you that. If you're in the construction or design, you understand the value of this. It will give you steepness analysis, right? Where is the best place to build things, right? Obviously, the house is a nice place. Again, if you are in the business of building or architecture, you understand the value of that. It gives you a roof condition report, which is nice. It tells you what it looks like. This seems to be okay. It seems to have a good roof, as far as it's concerned. And also it gives you a solar capacity. How much can you generate solar based on your roof line and information. So all this information, tons of information is available to you simply because you generate a site plan and what you see is what you get, what generating the output. It is that simple.